Welcome back to one of my favorite sports podcasts, Frizz and the Grizz, with your host Trudeau and my guy, Frizzy Frizz.
Hello and welcome back to Frizz and the Grizz. It's your boy Trudeau. Thank you for joining us live Tuesday, February 4th. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch is where you can find us live. Check us out, especially D's Twitch. D Frizzy _Frizz 5 is the handle if you want to know that. Or thank you for listening next day on podcast. Apple, Spotify, hook your boys up, press all those good buttons, rate, subscribe, review. We are back. We sound great. We are both here, and we're going to talk about a ton of trades because I love NBA. D loves NBA and NFL be crack right now. Some trades too, right, D?
There's a whole lot going on in the trade world for the NBA. Obviously, there's a few things that might happen in the NFL, but your boy is very, very, very happy with what happened in the last 48 hours. We'll just say that.
Oh, we'll get to that. If you're unaware, D, my co-host, is a massive Lakers fan, and I'm sure we'll talk about that shortly. D, think about something that happened this weekend outside the trade. D, the funniest thing that could have happened did happen this weekend.
I'm here for it. What happened?
The Grammys.
Oh, okay.
We talked months ago about the Kendrick Drake beef and Drake's song "Not Like Us." You know, we had a huge moment months. Kendrick's song, yeah, my bad. The beef song against Drake, "Not Like Us," had a moment, like many moments, right? Like it was popping for 3-4 months in a row. It was just a banger. Everyone was singing it. Everyone was loving it. And if you're not aware, "Not Like Us" is Kendrick calling Drake a pedophile.
Essentially.
Well, what a 2 weeks for dunking on Drake. It's back, baby. Shit on Drake is back because Kendrick won Song of the Year with Not Like Us, which, by the way, Song of the Year is based on the written words in the song. So the words calling Drake a pedophile, Song of the Year. Record of the Year, Rap Song of the Year. Dude, I didn't think it would happen, but legit, the funniest thing that could have happened this weekend, the Grammys, did happen.
I didn't watch any of it, but I've just seen a ton of like videos of like what happened during, just like clips, and I feel bad because like I also watched a video of like Drake post the Grammys, like showing up like at a restaurant, and he just looked defeated. Like he just looks like he's been battling something for years, and it's because of this track that came out in the middle of the summer.
Not only that, so he's got to deal with the Not Like Us crushing the Grammys, that song crushing the Grammys. But oh wait, this upcoming weekend, who's Super Bowl halftime show?
We're gonna hear it again because Kendrick is lead singer. No, so not only is he lead singer at the Super Bowl, but I don't even think he has like acts with him.
SZA is with him.
Okay, so there might be some special guest referee, but yeah. So we're gonna hear that. I wouldn't be surprised if they just have him sing it like 10 times.
Bro, the whole crowd in the Super Bowl is just gonna be like, A minor. What a rough 2 weeks to be Drake.
Tough for him, but I mean, he's got millions that he's sitting on, so I mean, I won't say that he's like stressing too much, but it's definitely taking a toll on him, which sucks for him, not for us, but for him.
I hope your weekend was better than that.
My weekend was much better. We got to actually do a lot of rest and relaxation. It is beautiful outside now, back to the like 65-degree weather in the afternoon. Can't be mad at that. Dropping down to like the 40s in the evening. Watched a good amount of movies over the weekend. It was a very relaxing time.
I have a question before we get into the trades.
Yeah, what up?
Was I the first person to inform you that you got Luka?
No, I was sleeping.
Okay.
So I was asleep because obviously they did it at like a 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So like 11 West Coast time. But I had like just finished I was up playing my video games, and I was like, I gotta go to bed. Like it was after the Knicks game, so like I watched the full Knicks game. I was like, all right, word, Lakers blew out the Knicks. They look good tonight. All right, maybe there's some type of momentum going close to the All-Star break. And then I look at my phone in the morning. Ping, 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 ping. Missed text messages, Twitter, messages, Instagram, just people will be like, yo, check out what happened. And there's no, we'll go into the excitement. I mean, we'll go into like the actual breakdown, but the excitement of like, I wasn't even reading shit right. Like I thought that like AD just got traded. I didn't realize that Luka went to the Lakers. And then I looked, I was like, wait a minute, are you guys joking? Oh no, this is real. Wait a minute, we traded Luka for what the hell is going? Like it took me like 20 minutes to actually understand what was going on.
Bro, Shams put out the tweet, and then he had to send out a second tweet and be like, yes, this is real. This is really Shams. Because it was so unbelievable.
Oh, ready to get into it, though, man.
Let's talk about the trade itself. This might go down as the biggest trade in NBA history.
It's up there. Was able to listen in and watch, obviously, a couple of talking heads throughout the week. The last couple of days which had happened. And they put this up there with like Wilt when he got traded, changed the landscape, obviously. They put it up with Dr. J, changed the landscape when he switched from what was the Bucks to the Sixers. So it was like you have a top, for those that aren't aware of it, obviously, Luka Doncic, point guard. Go ahead.
You want me to give the breakdown of what all was traded?
We can go over all the other stuff, yeah.
All right. So the Lakers acquire Luka Doncic from the Mavs, Maxi Kleber from the Mavs, and Markieff Morris from the Mavs. I didn't realize Markieff was still in the league. Shout out to Markieff.
Facts.
The Mavs required Anthony Davis from the Lakers, Max Christie from the Lakers, and a 2029 Los Angeles Lakers first-round pick. Which is crazy because they could have gotten two, but they didn't get the second. They should have asked for the second. And then the Jazz somehow found their way into this trade. They took Jalen Hood-Schifino. Is he a Laker?
Yes.
So they was a Laker, yeah. So that was just to kind of balance out the rosters and 2 second-round picks. So shout out to the Jazz just getting the dump and getting 2 picks.
Why not?
In there. Why not? All right, D. I don't know how you want to approach this. This is some crazy shit. I think everyone's crushing the Mavs today. I'm blanking on the GM's name. I'll grab it in a second. But where do you want to start on this thing?
So I'll go obviously the angle of the Lakers first, and I got a lot for the Mavs too, because I think two angles for it. But for the Lakers, it's what the Lakers do, right? There's no usual rebuild with the Lakers, right? We see year after year after year, or not even year, era after era of it going from Kareem to then Magic, right? To then Shaq and Kobe, to then just Kobe, to then Kobe and Powell, then LeBron, right? Then LeBron and AD. So like the Lakers are religiously having a top 3 talent on their team, prime wise, right? LeBron's 40, so you get what I'm saying, on their team. And for the past couple of years after the championship in 2020, it's like, all right, what's the post LeBron era going to look like? Since they lost Rondo, and I know a lot of people joke about it, but like Rondo was a great point guard for the Lakers. Since the bubble, they haven't had a point guard, right? So they've used LeBron as that position. And every year we talk about this, I've said, we got to get a point guard. We got to find a way to get the ball not away from LeBron, but somebody that can facilitate. So when you go out there and get the best point guard in the NBA, I don't care what anybody says, Luka Doncic is one. There might be some 1B out there that you want to say, Shea, I get it, he's up there. But Luka, when he's at his height, is the best point guard in the NBA. Literally a top 3 player. And this is exactly what the Lakers do. They splashed down. They said, you know what? We're not waiting. We're not going to find. This was a random conversation that Pelinka had with the Mavs owner, but it turned into getting another top 3 all NBA player for the next 10, 15 years. He's 25 years old.
So my understanding of how this trade actually started
is insane, but go ahead. Tell the people that may not know.
I think this story comes from Ramona Shelburne, who follows the Lakers quite closely. I was going to say religiously, yeah. So about 3 weeks ago, Nico Harrison, the GM of the Mavs, was at an event or something and sat down and had lunch with Rob Pelinka, the GM of the Lakers. They just have lunch together. And Nico Harrison floats the idea during lunch, like, would you ever consider like trading for Luka Doncic? And they just had like a conversation, like, and he was like, I really would love to have Anthony Davis on the Mavs. Like, just like very casual conversation. It was just the two GMs talking at a table, at a coffee table. That it goes on from there.
This is what happened. Pelinka went.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Wait, did you just say what I think you said? No, hold on. Let me take
Pelinka had to keep it cool.
Let me drink my mimosa real quick again.
He had to drink it with the side eye, like,
yeah, like, all right.
You serious? So it started 3 weeks ago at a conversation over coffee between these two GMs. They kept it between themselves and maybe a couple other people in the front office. They didn't tell anybody else. And because of that, the Mavs did not shop around, did not take any more offers to look for trade for partner for Luka Doncic. They had their eyes set on Anthony Davis. It was between those two gentlemen. And that is part of the reason why the Mavs ended up by getting a very, very poor return for Luka Doncic. I think that's the biggest criticism of this trade, right? If you want to trade AD and we can Luka Doncic and we can talk about that angle, that's fine. But the first thing that really sticks out is, okay, you traded him away. Did you get fair market value for him? Resounding, the answer is no, right? So you get Anthony Davis back. I get it. Multiple time, all-star, all-pro, defensive first team, great player. Luka Doncic is viewed as a top 5 player in the league. No doubt about it. And you didn't even get everything you could from the Lakers. You got 1 first-round pick in 2029, which if they're going to have Luka Doncic, probably not going to be that good. They had a second 2031, I think they could have traded away the Lakers, and they did not. If anything, the biggest indictment of this trade is not that it happened, but how little they got out of it. And again, and I'm going on too long, and I will let you get in 1 second, D. But the idea here is that they wanted to not open the market for this thing because they knew if people started talking, you start talking to more GMs, this will get out. This will leak out in the media. and you will have one very unhappy superstar on your hands. So they kept it hush hush, and that is why it was such a goddamn surprise to get that text Sunday night or Saturday night into Sunday morning.
It was a crazy 1 a.m. trade to try to let's try to sneak this through. What I will say is normally we don't do this, but like a huge shout out goes to both the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks PR team, because to keep something like this on the hush, that is insane, right? Like you just said it. All it takes is one person to be like, how much bread do you think I could get from TMZ to leak this? And now you have Luka pissed the fuck off that he's being shopped around, right? So big shouts to them for that. What I will say is, although Nico didn't get like a haul, we saw, what's his name? The dude that does this one. Is it Bridges? No, not Miles Bridges. Who's the Mikal Bridges? We saw Mikal Bridges go for 4 first rounders, but there was no Anthony Davis attached to it. What I don't want people to think is Dallas got fleeced or the Lakers got fleeced, whatever it is. I think this is as even as a trade as it can be when it let me finish. As even as a trade as could be when it comes to where each team is. I'm not saying that the return for the Dallas Mavericks was great. I'm saying for what they're looking to do, they're a team that was just in the NBA Finals. They need depth that big. They got one of the best in the league when healthy. Listen to me. Lively is your 5, but AD is an All NBA 4, right? A Hall of Famer at the 4 position. And that's what I think they were playing more along versus there's no way that I'm going to sell anybody.
The problem is AD is better at the 5. He wants to be a 4. He's much better at the 5. He's not, because he cannot shoot. So now you're going to put 2 non-shooters on the floor together.
AD not shoot. He's not a spot up, but he's a post.
He can't stretch, so it's going to be 2 non-3-point shooters on the court at all times.
I think. I mean, agree to disagree on that one.
I mean, I'll look up his numbers. They can't be good from 3.
I see it as you're not going to ever get enough value for Luka Doncic. You're just not. That's not a player. Now, do I agree with it? I'm not saying that I agree that they should have traded him, and I'll go over reasons as to why later. But there's nothing that's out there that ever is going to be like you could do Steph for Luka, and people would say that's not enough. And we know what Steph brings to the table. There's just not a player of his caliber, of his age, yet to hit their prime. That's going to be an even trade. You could say 10 draft picks, and that's still not enough.
I was thinking like for a player like Luka, and we're going to obviously get wicked off track here throughout this conversation, but I'll give you names, and you say yes or no. Would you trade player X for Luka? I'll give you some easy ones to start with. Nikola Jokic.
Hold on. Let's base this around it.
In a vacuum. We're just doing in a vacuum.
Okay, just 1 for 1.
In a vacuum, you're starting like whatever. You can start a new team. Doesn't matter. Forget salary caps. In a vacuum, who would you rather have on your team? Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic.
Luka.
What?
When healthy, Luka.
That's crazy, bro. Nikola Jokic is going to be like a 4-time MVP.
And Luka Doncic is a 6'8", 230 pound point guard.
Well, I don't know how it's going to. Victor Wembanyama, Luka Doncic.
Wembanyama.
To build your team around. Okay.
Wemby.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic. Wow. So you're saying you would only want Victor above Luka in a trade?
I'm going to look at age. I know you're saying vacuum. I'm going to look at age, potential, the potential that they have, and what they could actually be. Shai is a great scorer. I'm not saying that he's not. Luka is a playmaker. There's a big difference between the two.
I'm just curious now because I would say Luka over this one, but Giannis or Luka?
Luka, just because Giannis has more weak.
Bro, you're like 100% pro Luka because he's a Laker now.
Why would you take Giannis over Luka right now?
No, I would say the Jokic one. You lost me on Jokic. You lost me when you said Jokic over Luka.
I only say that because it's a point guard driven league, and I understand.
He's a point guard.
He can be, right, but that's why I asked you if roster is involved. You're just saying in a vacuum 1 for 1. No, I'm taking the point guard over the center. What if Jokic doesn't have the surrounded pieces that he has in Denver?
He is the offense. He is
all the time. I mean, he chooses when he wants to go off for 40, but so does Luka.
I would much rather have Jokic, but that's fine. Here, there. Matter of fact is the Lakers. The Lakers got a player that you would trade one or two players. You would rather have. You would say no, like one or two players. You'd say no in the whole league for him,
Facts.
which is insane. The one other thing that I thought was interesting that I heard today, that is just a thought experiment, is another thing that's puzzling about the trade is the idea of their timing, right? So
Mm.
they decided to trade him before he was supermax eligible and before the extension. So basically, that means whoever you're trading him to, there's the risk of him not re-signing, right? So like it limits that market. Whereas if you had already given him the supermax and then said, "Hey, we're trading you. You have 5 years left. Deal with it." You could just throw that out to the world like, "Hey, we're trading Luka Doncic," and just take 29 teams bids on him. And if he doesn't like it, he's got 5 years under contract. I mean, that's what happened with like a Donovan Mitchell, right? He signs an extension with the Jazz. He goes to Cleveland. He didn't want to be in Cleveland. It was obvious he wanted to be in Miami. But guess what? He sticks there a few years because he has to. Ends up by being okay with it. Signs an extension.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just odd the timing of the trade because they probably could have done more if they had waited. And then just what they had asked for in return seemed like a low ball offer. And the crazy thing, it's not like the Lakers were low balling the Mavs, and the Mavs were like, it's not like the Lakers came to the Mavs with a low ball offer. The Mavs were like, "Hey, I'm coming to you with all the good stuff," and the Lakers like, "Would you take this?" They're like, "Yeah."
Which again, it takes two to tango. You need both parties to agree. I think what you said at the end holds more weight than anything. The Lakers weren't seeking to trade Anthony Davis.
No.
I said that they should. I said that they should also trade LeBron at some point, just because you got to flip the roster. But they weren't actively going out there and saying, like, there was no headline last year of AD when he was at his peak. There have been no rumblings leading up to obviously Saturday and Sunday of AD being, traded, like nothing. So like the fact that what's his name? I wrote it down. Nico Harrison just like said it to Pelinka, like so casual. Hey, would you take? And he's just like,
Sure.
yeah. What do you want? Oh, what can you send? He's like, Anthony Davis. He goes, got it. Like that's all. That's literally how the conversation went.
Nico did want Anthony Davis. Like he sought out Anthony Davis. It wasn't like,
Fair.
"Would you like Anthony Davis?" Like that was a guy he wanted. I guess Nico has ties with Nike, and
Luca.
Rich Paul. What?
What's Luca?
I don't know what his shoe brand is, but like he has ties to AD like through Nike and through like shoe deals and stuff like that. So like they have a history together.
Wait, hold on. Nico Harrison. Now that you just said that, he's the guy that fumbled the bag with Steph Curry. Because
Possibly.
you can look this one up. This is obviously just a little research because the more that I say the name and then you said Nike, it just related it to it.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, Nico fumbled the bag when Steph was searching for a signature brand, and like he called him. This is just what I was able to read. He called him the wrong name. Called him Seth. Don't know how you get them two mixed up. And then he spelled Stephon Curry on like the welcome, like welcome Stephon. And then Curry was like, "If this is the best that you got, I'm gonna take my ass to Under Armour." Now, one of the greatest lifetime shoe deals for the Under Armour brand. But I'm pretty sure Nico, now he said he has ties with Nike. He's the guy that fumbled Steph Curry.
This is the guy who fumbled the bag with Steph Curry.
That's funny.
Yeah, it says Nico Harrison was blamed for Nike's Stephen Curry pitch. I will give him credit on this. We criticized the Mavs, and he was the GM at the time, for acquiring Kyrie. That worked out really well in their favor. He's been excellent on the court for them, and off the court, I haven't heard goddamn peep. Like he's been a model citizen for all I know off the court. He made a trade to get PJ Washington last year, and that was a criticized trade as well. Paid great dividends, and he got this team to the finals. However, this is all or nothing. Like this is putting all your chips in the middle of the table, because if this doesn't work out, this dude's never ever getting a job as a GM ever again in the league.
Yeah, he's pushed all the chips in the middle because you brought in Clay, right? You brought in AD, you shipped out Luka, and you're banking on Kyrie. Like those are a lot of big names that if that's who you're attached to, you got to hope that it's successful. Because if not, he is screwed heavily, obviously, in the long term. But these guys are going to age at some point, so like it is a win now situation. Which again, they were in the finals last year, so it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. Granted, the Celtics were just a better team; they were a wagon last year. So I think them bringing in again AD at his prime when he is healthy and on the court, he is one of the 5 best players in the NBA. It's a unicorn at the 6'10", 7-foot position that can dribble the ball, post up, shoot from 3, and play defense. It's somebody that again you're not going to get equal value for Luka, but that's pretty good return on investment for the trade.
So breaking down both sides of the trade. The Lakers, I don't think there's much to talk. There's not a lot of nuance to Lakers. It's like if you get the opportunity to Luka Doncic, you just do it. And it makes sense for Lakers because you and me have talked on this podcast. You're a Lakers fan. We talked about the Lakers conundrum in that should they tear it down? Because they're not they have a nice little team this year before the trade.
Not good enough, but yes.
But they're not good enough. They're not at a top echelon. They had the potential before the trade of winning a round. Maybe 2 if things break right. But like they're not a championship team. We said, well, if you're not that good and you got aging players, should you just rebuild it, tear it down? They don't have to now. They have the bridge to the future. The future is now here. And they can still compete. Luka and LeBron and the team together, they can still compete. Like, are they going to be a championship team? They're probably still in the same spot they were before the trade, but they can still compete, take shots at the playoff. And if it doesn't work out, you have 10 more years of Luka.
And this is where it is playing with house money for 2026, 2025, essentially, because I'm not dumb enough, or not. I love the Lakers, obviously. I'm not dumb enough to just say they're going to win the championship this year because of this. No. What I will say is that LeBron factor that is always there when it comes to the playoffs, that is now amplified because you have Luka, and we saw what he did last year. So it's not, I'm not going to say that like they can't win a championship with this roster with those 2 guys on their team. I would look at it as watch out now. You get the right matchups and the right path to the conference finals. Anything can happen if you're in a 7-game series. Somebody tweaks an ankle, somebody has an off shooting series, right? Things can happen, and you know what you're going to get in 7 games from LeBron. We saw what you're going to get in 7 games from Luka all last playoffs.
All right. On the flip side, let's analyze this from the Mavericks' point of view. The one argument you can make, and the one argument they've been somewhat making, no, they said, hey, it improves our defense and we care about defense. That's not why they made the trade. No. They are shorting Luka stock. And what I say when I say that is this. Maybe there's some insider trading going on here. Think about stocks. They've seen the numbers, the financials of the company, and they're like, we think this stock's going to tank. Like, we're going to sell now and get out of the business now. And the analogy is this. They've said repeatedly, and we've known as a public, one issue with Luka is he doesn't take his fitness and conditioning seriously. He started the season as a I don't know, 6'8" point guard, weighing almost 270 pounds, right? That's not good, right? And I think from their perspective, they look at it like this. We give this guy $70 million a year to Supermax. Is he going to change his ways and change his conditioning, his routine to be the best player he can possibly be and have that drive to be an all-time great? Now, I don't doubt when Luka's playing basketball, he cares a lot. He cares about winning, but it's when he's off the court. And I think they're looking at him and saying, this is never going to change if he stays here with us. We're going to give him $70 million a year, and he's going to be injury prone because he's out of shape. He's not going to be ready for the season, and this could cost us, and we can never reach the mountaintop. That might be their argument, and I think what could end up happening is this might be the best thing for Luka in his career, because this could be the biggest wake-up call of your life, right? Like, I know people are going to be like, he's still going to make $50 million, whatever, a year. It sucks what just happened to him. He was the face of a franchise. He wanted to be there. He was going to re-sign the Supermax. He just lost $100 million by getting traded. Facts. because he is not eligible for a Supermax anymore. If this isn't a wake-up call for him to take basketball, make it a 24/7 commitment, then I don't know what would be.
I'm going to start this off by just saying, if that was the angle for the Dallas Mavericks, that was the absolute stupidest fucking angle you could possibly take in the history of sports. I don't care if Luka weighs 260
Let me ask you this.
Well, let me finish this real quick.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is because he still shows up. There's no major injury history with Luka. Every all NBA player is missing 15 games per season. Luka's not missing 50% of the games. He's not an Embiid. He's not somebody that you have to bank or hope that he shows up. And in the playoffs, his last 6 years, he's averaging what? 39 and 7. So yes, we have a whatever slow start to the season until he gets into shape. Sure, he's 25 years old. Maybe he's just not mature enough. This may be the wake-up call, but that is not, I would look at it as, that is not the Dallas Mavericks decision that they should be making, to be like, well, maybe this will teach him, or maybe he'll take shit seriously because we're going to get rid of him now and we don't have to deal with paying him. No. As soon as this became a financial thing, and then like the ugliness of leaking out things like, well, he's not in shape and we don't want to, like, that's how you ruin a franchise, where other players will look at that situation and be like, nah, I'm good, man. Dallas is not only not a major market, but like, that's how they did Luka. Yeah, maybe we don't go there.
I'm not defending like this was the right decision to be made, but I'm trying to say this is their point of view.
Yeah.
And you give him the Supermax and nothing changes and he becomes complacent, you're going to be having the same issues over and over again. Like, throughout the playoffs, he was gassed, man. Like,
Yes.
he was gassed. And earlier in Nikola Jokic's career, he would be in the playoffs and would be gassed. And he started taking it seriously. I think he had a bad loss in a Game 7 against Portland a few years back. And he changed his workout routine. He started coming to the season in shape and taking it more seriously. That's the type of shit they were looking for with Luka. But instead of taking it more seriously and getting himself ready and to be the best he could be in the playoffs in those tough moments, what does he do? He bitches at the refs. He gets thrown out of games, right? We saw it in Game 3 against the Celtics. He gets thrown out for something completely stupid, right? Complaining at the refs when it was absolutely his fault in defense. I just think the Mavs may have looked at the situation and be like, this is not changing. If he stays here and we give him all this money, nothing's going to change. We're going to be frustrated every year. I get that can be frustrating, but it doesn't mean you have to trade the superstar. And it certainly doesn't mean you have to trade him for pennies on the dollar like they did.
Great point with Nikola. Jokic is also older. So whatever experience or just getting older, wiseness that you want to get from Luka, I mean from Jokic, Luka's not the same, right? Like they might be best friends, right? Because like they love the shit outside of basketball together. Like they were chubbing it up in the Olympics. But like if Jokic did that, if Jokic got serious and then won an NBA championship, wouldn't that be more motivation for the Mavs to be like, oh, well, like it can happen. Like we did see Jokic flip from not really caring to, all right, he's going to take care of his body so that he could be more readily available in the playoffs. I just looked at it. Luka, his career, yes, gassed, sure. Not readily available, gassed, tired, sure.
Well, one thing real quick.
Go ahead.
You're like, oh, maybe he'll figure it out on his own, Luka. You know, look at what happened to Jokic. He should have saw what happened last year and came into the season in shape, and he was absolutely not. So, like, clearly that same lesson does not apply for him.
Luka wanted to have a beer after winning the Western Conference Finals. Michael Finley took that shit from him. Like, maybe he was like, all right, like, let me be me, right? Like, players wants to be players. Let me be me. And they didn't like that. Was he walking in and averaging damn near triple-double? Yes. You deal with whatever issues that you got going on when you have a walking triple-double that has carried your bum ass team with Derek Lively, and I think Tucker was on the team last year, like a bunch of bums outside of Kyrie Irving, and they took out who was on their route to the finals last year?
Nuggets.
OKC and Ant. Like, they didn't beat bums. They beat the number one team in the NBA this year. They beat the reigning champions from the previous year, and they beat Ant-Man when and Cat and
Towns.
Gobert,
your boy.
They beat them when they were at their height. So, like, I don't want to hear he was gassed. The motherfucker averages 39 and 8 in the playoffs and whooped your favorite team's ass on the way to the finals. Now, they did get beat by the Celtics, but the Celtics will go down as last year's team, one of the most historically gifted offensive teams in the history of the league, right? So, like, let's pull the reins back just a little bit on that. The Celtics that team was a historically great team based off of numbers, their pace, their points per possession, and their scoring. So I don't want to hear anything about he was gassed, he didn't come. No. Did he throw on the backpack and say, guys, let me do this for all of you. I do this for everybody that plays for the Dallas Mavericks. I do this to get wins. Did he do that? Yes. And he climbed up Mount fucking Everest. And now he's walking his ass all the way over to Staples/Crypto Center.
See, that's why you defended him so hard. That's your boy now. You got to defend him. Luka's your guy. I'm so mad at you, by the way.
Guy?
I'm so mad at you for that.
I don't think I've stopped smiling at, like, NBA talk because it still isn't real. Like, when LeBron went to the Lakers, I was like, all right, like, y'all know that I'm a Kobe over LeBron, MJ over LeBron. Like, that's just my thing. And you guys can argue with the tree. You're not changing that. When he went to the Lakers, I was like, look, you're here, cheer for you, just win a championship. But it was never like, oh my God, we got LeBron James. Never has been, never will be. When we got Anthony Davis, I was like, it's a good move. I like that. Let's win a championship. Now we got pieces. I have not stopped smiling. I haven't smiled this hard about the Lakers since Kobe in his last championship. Like, it's just like, damn, we got a shot. It might not even be this year, but we have a shot for me to see another championship with this team, which is all I can ask for.
You like. I don't want to get too much into this talk.
Yeah, we got other trades too.
You like to see the Lakers add a big if they really want to compete.
That's the next piece. Yeah, they need that. Well, that's the thing. Do you go after that? You can't go after something that's not there. There's people that we can go over because we're going to talk about.
Nikola Vucevic coming back home, baby.
Ugh, yeah, you can have him. Ugh.
I don't know. All right, let's talk about the other trade, the other big trade, the De'Aaron Fox trade. That one was one that we actually foresaw coming, not exactly the way it panned out, but we thought he would get traded by this deadline. He had told the team he was not interested in resigning with them, and that was a known thing for a while, so it made sense to ship him out before he became a free agent. The Spurs. So let's go over the trade really quick. Spurs acquire De'Aaron Fox, Jordan McLaughlin. Kings acquire Zach LaVine. City, I don't even know how to pronounce the name. City Sissoko. Cool. Hornets 2025 first round pick, which is a fake first round pick because that 2025 first round pick is top 10 protected.
So if the Hornets are
top 10,
they get to keep their own pick?
Yeah. So if the Hornets 2025 top 10 protected pick falls in the top 10, which they're dog shit, so it likely will, it becomes 2 second-round picks.
Oh, so it doesn't even go back to the Hornets. It just turns into 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's ugly.
So let's just call that 2 seconds. So Kings get Zach LaVine, 2 second-round picks from the Hornets, a Spurs 2027 pick in the first round, which, again, that's probably not going to be good with a Wemby and Fox. Here's one good pick. The Wolves 2031 first-round pick. Could be interesting. That's a long time away. And then 3 more seconds. So basically they get 2 first-round picks, one that's kind of shitty from the Spurs, who knows, from the Wolves, and then 5 second-round picks. And then the Bulls, they just get crap. Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Horter, and then they get their own 2025 first round pick back. But did it really matter because it was top 10 protected anyways, and this team is heading towards that direction. So let's start with let's just go this way. Who do you like this trade for in order, first, second, third? Because I actually think all teams made a decent, it was a good decision for each team based on the situations they were given.
Order of operation: Spurs,
Yeah.
Kings, Bulls.
Okay.
100% think that this was. Will they still need another? I think so, in the way and how strong the West is. But this is a slam dunk, a point scoring point guard in Fox that can take some pressure off of Wemby. He's not a shooter, but he's a scorer. It will spill CP until he can learn and he retires, and it gets you a top tier star. I don't say De'Aaron Fox is a superstar quite yet, but he's an all-star type caliber player. And how can you be mad at that when that's what we said? Hey, Wemby's just going to need some help. I don't know if they still own their original draft pick for this year?
The Spurs?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so.
The reason why I say that is I'm not expecting them to tank by any means, but this is a deep class that's about to come into play. You say no, go ahead and look.
No, it's a good class. I'm just saying.
My bad.
They'll be too good to really take a big bite at the apple.
I mean, at some point, if they are a 9, 10, 11 draftee, somebody may slip through. Like right now, they're not in the playoffs.
They'll be a play-in team.
They're not a play-in team right now.
I think with the trade, they will be a play-in team.
We'll see. Well, I mean, there's a lot of pieces out there because of the people that are in front of them, that being the Suns and the Warriors. So, like, those are two big name teams that are in the trade market. I just see it as this is what they needed, right? The Spurs needed another star type player that's not I would say, superstar to take minutes away or take shine away from Wemby. Is Wemby's team, and you're just adding a nice little piece when it comes to De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I mean, this is I'll go over my 1, 2, and 3, but I definitely think Spurs made out the best out of all these teams. They addressed one of their big needs. Like, is Fox a superstar? Like you said, no.
They had Johan playing point guard.
I don't know if he is even. Has he been an all-star yet in his career?
I don't believe so. I just say caliber type because
he's up there.
You got to think
he's a top 40 player in the league. I don't know what like how you're going to rank players, but he's top 40 in the league.
He's never going to be an all-star because he's got Steph, he's got Shea, and he's got Ja, and now you got Jalen Green, and in his position,
Green sucks. Sorry, that was just random stuff to Jalen Green.
Yeah, bro, like they're one of the best teams in the NBA right now, and he's balling. But go ahead.
Nah, if you want to talk about who's balling on the Rockets, Amen Thompson. Look up that kid. That kid's an absolute monster.
I didn't say he was, but like just to flat out say that somebody that's averaging 21, 5, and 4 is
on like 37% shooting. Yeah.
All right. We want to get under the Rockets. I gave you a reason as to why he won't make an all-star.
I just wanted to crush Jalen Green out of nowhere. My bad.
Dude. Damn.
Where was I? Oh, so yeah. De'Aaron Fox, like one of his criticisms, again, he's not like an excellent shooter. He can shoot from outside.
He's a scorer.
He could handle though. He can distribute and score. Like those are some important point guard characteristics. Defensively, not his strength, but does it matter when you have an absolute pterodactyl in the center like Wemby? No. That's the most beautiful thing about Wemby is like sometimes you can have bigs to cover stuff up. Like Embiid can help you defensively because he's just like prime Embiid. Because he's just such a good defender, but he can only cover so much space because of his size and his mobility. Wemby can cover so much goddamn room that you can take 2 or 3 bad defenders to subpar defenders, and he can make up for a lot of those deficiencies. So this is a great pairing. And on top of that, they gave up nothing as far as rotational minutes on their team. The only player they lost, Zach Collins and Trey Jones, who I don't think either of them are really getting minutes. As far as picks, they gave up their own 2027 first, which again, I think they'll be really good then. So that's like not even a lottery pick. They gave up a shitty Hornets pick. They gave up a Wolves pick that might be good, but like for De'Aaron Fox, this is nothing. This is an absolute slam dunk for the Spurs. They're not. I mean, they're done this year probably, but give them like 1 or 2 more years. They're not done yet because like by the time this thing is done, I guarantee you, De'Aaron Fox is not going to be the number 2 guy in that team.
So the Spurs are not a major market team, but they have a major market player that people will want to go play alongside because of what you just said. It doesn't need to be from 1 through 4. I don't know there really aren't that many 4s out there, but like let's just say 1 through wing. You don't need to be a two-way with them. You just have to be able to score. And if you can score, which is a lot of people in the NBA right now, a lot of star scorers, like I'm not going to say I would be as happy for them if they got Levine, but I would still be like, he can light that shit up. Like he can score, which is going to give more space for Wemby. So like the Spurs bringing in a scoring guard. Yeah, I'd say that they won that one hands down easily.
All right. So I got, for me, Spurs, number 1. I would say the second best, who made out the second best in this deal were the Bulls.
Ooh.
And hear me out on this one.
I know why you're going to say it, but go ahead.
We've talked about this, and I have been a big proponent
for years.
The Bulls need to just tear this thing down. What are they doing? They've been so reluctant. And the biggest problem with the Bulls tearing it down, as we've always looked at that Zach LaVine contract, is like that thing is gross. Like it was thought of as the worst contract in the league. Zach LaVine, that is 2 years ago, 3 years ago, right? Like it was thought as like an absolute death nail. Like you can't get rid of it. They did it. They got rid of Zach LaVine. They did the thing. And did they give up really anything as far as like other things? Just Zach LaVine, more or less, right?
Anything? Yeah, nothing. It was just you dumped the contract.
They basically took a super negative asset in Zach LaVine, who we thought of as a super negative asset last year, and they just relinquished it. They're free of the headache. And we thought a couple years ago they would have to like maybe tag some good shit to get rid of him. So I love it for the Bulls. And the thing with the Kings, like I put them number 3, and I don't think they did a horrible job per se, right? Because they had to move on from Fox. Like this was not going to work. My thing is this, like, what are y'all doing?
They're turning into the Bulls.
Because you get Zach LaVine, and again, like, is Zach LaVine a good basketball player? Yeah, like he's a fine basketball player when he's a good basketball player when he plays basketball, right? He's often injured, so you have that to worry about. And the contract's still bad, which is going to handcuff you as far as what other things you want to do. So now you have a combination of Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, we've all seen how that has gone in the past with the Bulls, right? So like they're redoing the Bulls thing. And then it's like, well, are they maybe rebuilding because they're getting draft picks? No, these are all god-awful picks. You can't do shit with them. So it's like, I get they had to make the move to get rid of Fox, but like what they got in return, like it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, what are you guys doing here?
So I actually don't do this very often, but I need to retract my statement because I completely forgot until we started talking about the Kings roster that DeMar DeRozan ran away from the Bulls and was like, I don't want to deal with LaVine. And when he walked into the office on Monday morning, and LaVine was like, "What's up, DeMar?" Like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like he's like, "Damn it! Like how did this happen to me?" So like, yeah, I might have to change that and be like, you know what? We ragged on the Bulls for damn near 2 years, and I've been
doing
saying
the thing.
Yeah, I was like, I've been saying, hey, just bring him to the Lakers. Like, just trade LaVine to the Lakers. He's not point guard, but like, he can score. You can take away pressure. So like, I just might have to say the order might be teams that are a better spot or win the trade. It's probably San Antonio, then Chicago, and then Sacramento because Sacramento's not going to make the play-in. They got terrible contracts. They don't have great draft picks, and now you just got Domantas Sabonis and a bunch of older
Makes no sense.
Older mid-range shooters.
And with the Bulls, like, I don't know when these contracts run out, Collins, Trey Jones, or Kevin Huerter, but like these contracts are probably expiring. And like, if not, they're smaller chunk contracts that you could now more easily move around. I would expect the next move for the Bulls before the deadline is probably, like I mentioned earlier, is Vucevic.
Yeah.
Because he makes no more sense. He has another year there, $20 million a year. Like, why? For what? If you're
What are you
really
holding on
going to
to?
do this thing, let's move Vucevic out and really tear it down to the bare bones and try to start something new here.
Yeah, man.
Do you want to do? Can I do my top 5 real quick? NFL, NBA rookies, and then we'll do
NFL?
the NFL trades. I saw the NFL trades. I meant NBA rookies,
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
and then we'll circle and do the trades real quick and bounce on out of here. I feel like we got caught up on that Lakers talk, man. Of course.
Always.
Welcome to a segment so unique, so entertaining, and definitely not a rip-off of Frizz's 5. And even if it's a rip-off of Frizz's 5, it's probably way better. It's time to rank some stuff with Trudeau. It's time for Grizz's 5.
All right, D, we're back, ready to rank some things. Could you hit me up with the ding, ding, dings and all that nonsense?
I think I got one, but I'll make sure that I'll find one.
All right. My top 5, because I've been dying to do this all year. Dying. I have my top 5 most intriguing NBA rookies for me. Now, that doesn't mean they're the best. It's just the most intriguing. So there are some guys that haven't really popped off this year and is in people's mindset, but I'm just like, something here.
So we can tell who's the producer and who's the guy that usually talks, because normally when you introduce your topic, you get something that mixes in to be like, oh, word, let's go. But you just kept chugging along. So go ahead, man. What's your 5 that you got here?
I don't know why I did wrong, but I'm sorry. All right. So number 5, this was not a deep cut, but a deep cut at the same time, only because he hasn't played in a long time. He was the leader of Rookie of the Year for the first 2 months, out for the season, but he showed some flashes. I'm not as high as other people are on him, but Jared McCain of the Philadelphia 76ers is number 5 on my list, and here's why. Thank you.
Some time. God damn it.
I didn't know you had that all teed up. So listen, this is why I say that. For me, he's an excellent bucket getter. He was putting up some big numbers. He had a couple 20, 25 point games consecutively for a couple weeks. But he did that on a lot of usage and a lot of volume, right? So I don't know how real that is. And this was when everyone was injured with Jared McCain. The rest of his stat line is pretty pedestrian. He's not a big assist guy, rebound guy, steal guy, but he's an interesting bucket getter. And as far as flashy scoring, I haven't seen a lot of that in this draft class. So he's number 5 is player I'm going to watch going forward when he gets back healthy.
I don't mind it. I think there was a lot of flash that you got with McCain, the Duke prodigy. Essentially he came from Duke. It would have been cool to see, because you said it was earlier on in the season, so Maxey hadn't got his legs yet, coming off of injury, and Embiid being out. Yeah, Embiid being out. So
Paul George was out too a little bit during that time.
Yeah, so it would have been nice to see how the dynamic of McCain with 3 superstars on the court, because he would have been the 2.
He did play with Maxey and Paul George a little bit, and his production really took a dip, just because it's he was relying on 25% usage, insane. Right. So is it real? Probably not, but the fact that he can do it if called upon is interesting.
Very true.
All right. My number 4 is way outside the box. This is where I was this is going to be not your standard list. This is my idea. I told you about him. I said, watch him. My number 4 NBA rookie to just keep your eye on, intriguing, Utah Jazz's Isaiah Collier. So very kind of unknown. He was the number 1 high school prospect of the class this past year. Went to USC, drafted late in the draft because he had a somewhat disappointing year at USC. This is what I find intriguing about Isaiah Collier. If you look at his stats, now I don't want you to look at his stats for the whole year, because he didn't play much the first 2 months of the year. He's playing 0 minutes or 5 minutes. Last month of basketball, my man's averaging 10 points and a little over 8 assists with 3 turnovers a game. I would love the assist turnover ratio to be a little better, but for a rookie who is a young rookie, this is 1 year out of college, he did 1 year of college, to be able to come into the league and put up over 8 assists a game for a month straight, and he's continuing to do this. and getting minutes. I just think it's intriguing. And some of these assists are not just like random, like throw it like off the ground. Like he's making some insane passes. So just a guy to keep your eye on. Do I think he's going to be a superstar, all-star caliber player? No. But like this is a guy who could probably be like a serviceable point guard for many years in the league. This is intriguing because not a lot of rookies, again, have that sort of court vision at the age of 20 years old.
I don't mind that one. I think he's going to get even more opportunities. This is just, out of what I'm thinking. I think they're one of their players that's on the Jazz might be on the move. I know we didn't get to potential trade players, but like my first thought was Walker Kessler. And so if you remove Kessler from the team and you have him and Laurie, now you got a little bit more like I'm not saying it's great.
You think Laurie's going to play? You think Laurie's going to play the rest of the season? You're crazy.
Why you say that?
Oh, come on, man. Jazz are already in full shenanigans season mode. He's going to be.
Who knows? But yes, that's I would them being in full sell mode type deal is why I would say like Kessler could be out, which would give him more opportunities.
Yeah, I like Isaiah Collier. All right, number 3. I'll try to get a little quicker at these. My number 3 most intriguing rookie is Alexander Sarr.
That's the wrong one, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about that one?
You didn't like that one? You didn't like Alexander Sarr? Number 2 draft pick in Washington. He hasn't been great. Like no. I'll just put it, he hasn't been great, but he's interesting. This is not like how good is that player and what's the most interesting players so far. Alexander Sarr number 3 because he can do a lot of different things. He can shoot a little bit. Has it been great this year? No, but he can stretch it and grab boards, blocks, do a little assisting. Like he can do a little bit of everything as a big. Which I see this player archetype and I'm like, he could develop into something in a couple years if the Wizards decide to be something serious. Like, again, all-star type guy? No, but like this guy could be a starting 4, starting 5 for, 10 years in the league.
I think the reason why it like bothers me is I think we said this on draft night is a lot of the two top, I mean, Risha say the tape is still out. I'm pretty sure you'll see him on your list as well. But even worse, we're talking about the number 1 and the number 2 picks in a draft not being franchise players, but being serviceable players. That's where I draw. I trust more into like a McCain versus someone that you're trying to convince me who was the number 2 draft pick in the class.
This draft class sucks.
Bad. Very bad.
Might be one of the worst of all time.
There's not a single Dalton Connect, maybe just because he plays for the Lakers. You say that, but like I think he scored the most points out of all of the rookies this season.
I'd have to double check, but I'm sure there will be one rookie in this draft class at some point to make one all-star team, but I'm having a hard time finding that one player. Dead ass. All right, number 2 on my list of just intriguing rookies from this NBA draft class. Wemby's teammate, Stephon Castle. Again, this is a kid who has holes in his game, which, every rookie's going to have. But some of his highs are very impressive. As far as a rookie, this rookie class, absolutely the best at taking the ball to the hoop. Like he already has really good finishing skills, a really good touch around the rim, and just the understanding how to get to the basket and use his body, can finish with contact. So he shows flashes of like these really good finishing skills. Defensively, he is a pain in the ass to deal with, generates a lot of steals, a good on-ball defender. Again, some of the things he needs to work on, passing, like he could be better what's the distributor of the ball. And shooting, he's just not a great shooter, just in general. But if you look at Stephon Castle's past couple of games, he's been on a real hot streak. I think he scored around 20 in the past 3 or 4 games. So like, yeah, he's very intriguing. Like he could be a guy that maybe is the guy who reaches all-star level, like maybe makes one all-star team at one point in this draft class.
That was the knock on him when he came out of UConn, that he was more of a playmaker. He wasn't a shooter, sniper. Like, does that help you in the NBA? You got to be able to play great defense. You know what I'm saying? If you can't shoot. So if he's more of a pest out there, that's a good thing. I found the top 5 scoring rookies, but like I don't want to give away a name if it's somebody else that might show up on here.
I have one more. It's my number one, who I think might be the best rookie in this class.
I don't know if I have a drum roll, but if you no, I don't have a drum roll over here.
I got you with the drum roll, I think.
Let's go.
I'll give it to myself. I deserve it, right? All right, my number one rookie, most intriguing rookie in this draft class is the Heat culture legend, Miami Heat's Khalil Ware. Are you familiar with Khalil Ware?
That is not a name that I was going to say, but I'm here for it.
Okay, right now he stands as the favorite for Rookie of the Year. He was drafted somewhat late in the draft. He's from, I think, Louisville, I want to say. The knock on him was attitude, effort issues at Louisville, but a freak athlete. He plays the 4/5. He's a big. He is super athletic. He grabs boards like crazy. He can shoot the 3. So he was putting up, like, I've seen him, I think, at least a couple 2 3-point games, maybe a 1 3-3-point game, can block shots. He kind of can do it all. Like, he is a super freaky athletic stretch who can stretch big, who can shoot, play defense, block, grab boards. He does a little bit of everything. And he's a little bit of a late bloomer this year because they kind of had him buried in the depth chart for a while. He was just primarily the backup to Bam Adebayo, but more recently they've actually just inserted him as their starter at the 4 position, and he's been excellent for Miami. And so that's the one guy in this draft class, and like, there's something special here because he has all the things you would want.
That one I will agree with you on. Not knowing who he was and then looking at like his game log.
Yeah,
definitely. So it sucks because like you go look at the whole season and he's averaging 8 and 5, and I'm like, what the hell are we talking about? But then I looked at his breakdown, and it's like over the last 5, he was 25 and 8, 20 and 15, 22 and 10. A little bit off, obviously, when he played Brooklyn, but then he capped it off with a 19 and 10 game. So it's like,
yeah,
that's pretty good
with blocks, with a lot of blocks.
I didn't talk about his defense. I was just talking about his scoring and rebounding. And being a 7 foot, 230-pound athletic big, that is what those numbers are what I expect from Richese and Sarr.
Yeah.
So the fact that this guy is doing that and he was picked number 20, a second rounder, like that's embarrassing if you're the other two. And miss me with the teams that they're on. Richese plays with alongside Trae Young and
Dyson
Sarr. I mean, I understand Washington's not great, but like that means if you're that good, you should stand out even more.
Yeah. Khalil Ware might be the steal of the draft. Looking back a couple of years, so
I won't go that far, but
watch a Heat game. Watch that dude play. He's
I might have to.
He's something.
I mean, with Jimmy Butler doing everything that he's doing, maybe we pop on a Heat game and see if there's like actual basketball being played in Miami right now.
All right. Do you want to let's use the closing takes to talk about the NFL trades?
Sure.
That makes the most sense.
The show is coming to an end. But first, it's time to get to anything we've missed. It's closing time. 1 segment, 2 takes. Now go.
All right, closing takes. It's a chance for us to get off some last takes before we head on out of here. We're going to talk about those NFL trade rumors. Actually, I don't think they're even rumors. They're just known facts at this point. Yes. I'll take one. You take the other. You want Cup or Garrett?
I'll take the Cup one.
All right, Myles Garrett has formally requested a trade out of Cleveland. And you know what I got to say, D? Good for him.
Yes.
He has stuck it out longer in Cleveland than I thought he would have. I thought he would have asked for out this like before last season when we saw how bad Deshaun Watson was. There is no hope. There is no future. This franchise is cursed. And you know what? They did it to himself by bringing in the nasty man. And Myles Garrett has been nothing but a model citizen for them. He's been nominated for like the Walter Payton Man of the Year several times. one of the best players in the league, maybe the best edge defensive end. I'm trying to think. You could throw one of the Boses in there. Nick Bosa, maybe.
I'm saying it's Garrett because he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Like it would have been him and Micah Parsons, but Parsons got hurt last year.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett doesn't miss time.
No. And you know what? Like, he's done everything he's asked. At this point in his career, he's got the paychecks. He's got the accolades, the Pro Bowls, all that stuff, all pro. There's one thing left for him. Win a Super Bowl. It ain't going to happen in Cleveland. Yeah. So I'm with him. You like that?
I love it. Because this is one of those, like, you do it the right way. And I'm not saying that he's going to get rewarded, but like he's been quiet his entire career. He hasn't said shit about what surrounded him when he was in the league with Johnny. I'm pretty sure he was there for. Was
Johnny
he there
Football?
I think he was.
I'll check it out when he was drafted.
If not, then it might have been like very close with that whole shenanigans, stuff. And the fact that he's just like, look, at like some point, like we got to do something. I want to win. Like I got to play the Steelers every single year. I got to deal with the Bengals every single year. And I got to deal with the Ravens. These three teams find ways to win, and we just choose not to. So the fact that he's just like, look, I'm done. I've given you guys everything that I could. I want to go win. I'm about to be done with my prime, and I want to still give back to trying to win a Super Bowl. It's not going to do it in Cleveland, so I don't mind. This isn't one of those like, what are you doing asking for a trade? This is, hey, he gave you guys plenty of time of his career, and you still couldn't surround him with the pieces.
I'm trying to look up what his quarterback situation was the first year. He was drafted in 2017, so 2018 would be his first year, and the quarterback of the 2018 Cleveland Browns was Kevin Hogan. God damn. That's what he came into the league with. Woof.
Disrespectful.
That's gross. So good for you, Miles. I hope you have some great success. Come to the Bucks, man. We could use you on defense. We'd love to have you. Come back and be reunited with Baker Mayfield. All right, D. So you're going to take the Cooper Kupp side of things.
Yeah. And this is where I will disagree with how it's being handled. Look, say what you want about whatever injury Cooper Kupp had. And sure, Puka Nacua came in and like helps your offense out. Cooper Kupp was one of the first Triple Crown winners in the NFL in years. Like, it doesn't just happen naturally where you lead the league in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. And the Rams were relevant because of Cooper Kupp. They won their Super Bowl. I don't care what you say about Matt Stafford. They won it because of Cooper Kupp. What he did in the NFC Championship game, and you can confirm this, against the Bucks, that alone should be like, look, we want you here for the rest of forever. You helped us win a Super Bowl. In the Rams organization, not only did they say like, hey, we're thinking about shipping you. It came out as saying, hey, Cooper, it's a guarantee you're not going to be a Ram. Like, how does one foster, not trust, but like want to foster loyalty into an organization when you can do everything that you do right? He did it the right way. The same thing that Myles Garrett is doing. He didn't ask for contract issues. He didn't have contract issues. He showed up outside of blowing out an ACL. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was there to play. He was a non-first round drafted wide receiver that blew up because of how talented he was. And then they're like, you know what? Not only are we not paying you, but you are not going to be a Ram next season. That is fucked up. And like, that's what would make people like Zion say nobody's safe. Or like Giannis, I know this is basketball, but it's just recent because of the whole Luka thing. Giannis came out and said, how can you expect us to be loyal to these teams when on the other side of things, an organization can do this? So I think it's wrong. I don't agree with it. Garrett put in his time and he's asking because it's enough is enough. Cooper helped this team single-handedly help this team win a Super Bowl. And they're like, not only are we not paying you, but you're not coming to work for us next year.
I mean, the Cooper Kupp thing is completely a money issue. If you look at his cap hit next year, the year after, he's got 2 years left. Next year, 29 million. Actually, it's about 30 million. Year after, 27 million. So it's 10% and 9% of the cap, respectively. If you look at that cap number and you compare it to his production over this year and the year prior, huge injury concerns to Cooper Kupp. And if you look at the last 3 or 4 games with this season with the Rams, he was ghost, man. Like 2 catch games for 20 yards, 3 catch games for 15 yards. Puka's that dude. And I think this move is more about Puka Nacua, that is, than Cooper Kupp. It's saying, we want this money off our books. We're going to give it to Puka Nacua next year or the year after, because he's going to be that guy for us. And listen, I get it. I get the hard feelings because what Kupp did for that organization. I'm curious to see how this plays out. If you could pick a landing spot for Cooper Kupp, where do you think he ends up by going? What team wants to pay for that?
Well,
realistically, within the cap machinations as well.
Cap is unrealistic in the NFL. I don't see a team like the Patriots breaking the bank, but I could see them kind of sneaking their name in there.
That was the name that popped out to me.
Yeah, just because they got the money for it. Everybody's been saying, what's his name from the Bengals? T. Higgins. Everybody's been saying T. Higgins is a Patriot for the past 5 years because of his contract issue. But this would be one of those maybe we don't get T. Higgins, but we may get Cooper Kupp. So I could see that happening.
I thought the Patriots were Kupp as well, just because he's a really good, reliable slot receiver. Gets open on slants and in the flat and stuff like that. Helps a young quarterback like Drake May. By the way, I saw Drake May at the Pro Bowl. I was like, why is this man at the Pro Bowl? So the Patriots not only had Mac Jones Pro Bowler, but they have Drake May Pro Bowler now. They're doing something right there, New England.
Yeah, and so was the fucking third string quarterback for the Ravens one year. What was his name?
Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, Tyler Huntley is a Pro Bowl. It's a joke. I watched 0 of the Pro Bowl weekend. I watched so less of it that I accidentally turned it on and was like, what the fuck is this female versus female flag football game? So out of it, as in what celebrity thing or what part of the weekend is this? Is this just because they had a kids version of it too? And I'm like, that it's just a joke. I want to see Tyreek Hill, not Archie. I'm sorry. You know who's the winner of the weekend? Eli's son, Archer Manning, or the next Manning. That's he's 11 now, so he's not gonna be in college for another 10 years or whatever it is. I think he's 8, but he's the next one up. He got more play than anything that happened all weekend because he threw a pass to, I think, Jamar Chase, and Jamar was like, "That kid got an arm. How old is he?" He's like, "I'm 8." I think it's Archer. I could be wrong, but there's another Manning that's on his way up. So we got to deal. We had to deal with Archie, the original Archie.
Arch Manning.
Arch Manning. Then both brothers dominated. I don't care what you say. Eli won 2 Super Bowls.
And Cooper got some love.
Cooper tried to do his thing when he could. And now we got Archie in Texas now. And hey, by the way, we got another one warming up in the fucking bullpen. That Manning family is probably going to top as best family produced outside of the Ball family, outside of the Antetokounmpo family, who we got from
baseball is one of them.
I'm just saying the bunch of kids that are just in sports, right?
The Watts are pretty good.
The Watts are good. I'll give you that. But the Mannings just keep.
What about, remember the Pouncey brothers? Those guys were a menace.
Yeah, off the field as well as on the field.
Oh, yeah.
That was just the 2 of them, right? Rondé and Tiki. All of these family generations that we have where Asante Samuel Jr. is in the league.
We gotta make the top 5 next week, D. I want you to research top 5 sports families.
I like that one. Let me write that one down. Top 5 sports families. I got you. I kind of gave away what one. I know
you threw out some good ones.
I'd have to go away from the Manning one because I think they win automatically. All right.
So we got top 5 for next week. I love it. All right, D. Good show. I'm always happy we get to talk a lot of NBA. That's my shit. I feel like we crushed that conversation.
Not only do we do that, but we sound so much better.
I know.
No technical difficulties today.
I knew a program called EV Mux would never be good for us.
Ev Much. We couldn't say it right for the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
It's like Rudy Gobert. Ev
Gobert.
Mux.
Ev Much.
All right, D. Get us out of here, man.
All right, guys and gals, we appreciate you all being here. Not only was it fun to come back, but like you guys could see the old banner because this is who he is, Frizz and the Grizz. It was fun to be back here. Hopefully the sound was great. Hopefully the production was great, and we'll try to get a little bit better if we didn't, hammer it home this year, today. But what I will say is when we getting up out of here, find us on all of our platforms, streaming live right now on Facebook and Twitch. You can catch us on YouTube. Find us on our website that's at the bottom, www.frizzandthegrizz.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you guys find your podcasts. Rate, follow, subscribe. Hit your boys up with the subs. We might throw a commercial at the end of this just because. You can also find us on next day, tomorrow morning, right around 9 a.m. for when you're driving to work. Please be a friend. Say something nice. You never know what it could do for someone. When we are getting up out of here, make sure y'all take care of y'all mentals. Make sure y'all take care of y'all physicals. Take care of y'all chicken. Take care of y'all children. And we'll catch y'all on the rebound.
I am a better player, but in times like this, it's an opportunity to continue to glorify the Lord, even through the toughest circumstances. I know I'm better than this. I know I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes. Like that's not me.